agency tidbit. Of course, last week we were talking about how the Jets will be releasing Muhammad Wilkerson. Of course, when he's right, a potent pass rusher, but things have not been right for him the past couple of years in New York. His first free agent visit, according to Ian Rappaport, will be with the Packers.
Interesting.
And that is an interesting move for a team who you figure will be right in the thick of the playoffs, and probably someone, if the Saints are in the thick of the playoffs, someone they're going to be contending with next year.
That's my early pick to win the Super Bowl next year.
Who, the Saints?
The Packers.
Oh, not the Saints.
No, I just feel like Green Bay, all the adversity they've been through the last few years, they've had a lot. And they've changed their defensive coordinator, which I think was important. They got a new GM. I just think that's going to be the impetus. There's going to be a lot of hungry people in that organization, including Aaron Rodgers, who's had some tough luck lately. I like their shot. They're going to be playing, probably a third-place schedule?
Yes, because the Vikings were first, the Lions were second. So there'll be a third-place schedule, and that's – you look at last year, Saints were a third-place schedule. The Vikings played a third-place schedule. The Eagles played a last-place schedule, and they were able to move pretty deep into the playoffs. But you know what?
That third-place schedule this past year was tough because you had the Rams, the Saints.
Well, the Rams played a third-place schedule.
Yeah, and the Vikings were all third-place teams. Well, how'd that work out?
They ended up being good. Hey, there you go. Ended up losing my hair. I ended up losing all my damn hair for it.
Damn hair.
Exactly.
It's still sitting around here somewhere, I believe.
The bag, seriously, the bag of hair is still in our studio. The fact that you kept it.
You can throw it away at any point in time.
We're moving.
You can just
we're taking that with us.
No, we're not taking that with us. That's going to get lost. It's going to get lost in transit.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Lost in transit.
You're going to steal it and try to grow a little Larry.
I would never, ever try to do that. We are struggling with one.
I know your game.
What about Kurt Coleman? Do we like that pick?
I'm not sure.
Not pick, that acquisition.
They added Kurt Coleman. Look, we were talking about how the Saints were interested in him last week. They won his services because there were a few teams after him. So he was in Indianapolis, visited with the Saints, and they signed him. We already knew Kenny Vaccaro wasn't coming back. We've said it for months. Kenny Vaccaro's now saying it publicly. And now, of course, the Kurt Coleman signed veteran safety from the Panthers. Saints added him 3-year deal. Looks like the deal, according to reports, maxing out at $18 million. So I don't know if it's actually $18 million less. Maybe he's got to trigger some big-time incentives. But he's 29. And in Josh's story, Josh Katchency's story over the weekend, he certainly pointed out where he got burnt on an 80-yard touchdown by Ted Ginn.
That was the one we were trying to think of.
That's literally when I saw the story, I was like, that's what Joe was talking about.
It was in the playoffs, and we were looking in the regular season, but it was the playoff game right off the bat, right? Wasn't it early in the first quarter or something like that? Or am I thinking the second quarter maybe?
I think it was second quarter.
Late in the first quarter. 80-yard touchdown pass on 2nd and 10. And, but, I mean, come on. We can't – players get beat. It's the NFL.
Right, exactly. That's just what we remember. But, no – the Saints, once again, oddly enough, going back to Carolina and plucking their free agents. Plucked Ted Ginn, they plucked A.J. Klein, and now they're taking Kurt Coleman. And obviously they know the player. I mean, they've studied him for years because he's played as a starter with Carolina. I'm just curious to see what this means for the defense. Are they going to still play a lot of 3 safety defense? Are they going to maybe have Kurt Coleman and Von Bell fight it out for the starting job, and maybe they actually have a nickel corner as opposed to what they did last year with Kenny Vaccaro playing a lot in coverage? That's what I'm most curious about. I'm fine with the signing. I just don't know what they're going to look like as far as formationally on defense.
But, boy, I tell you what, they were excited about it. I heard in Indianapolis, Sean Payton, when they inked that deal, called Kurt Coleman, sent him a video basically saying, hey, let's do this, very, very passionate, excited about getting Kurt Coleman on. It was a big deal for the Saints internally to get this guy on board. And by getting him on board before free agency, there's some benefits to that. It's not quite like a regular free agent signing. It won't count against them when, say the Saints lose Senio Calamete and Kenny Vaccaro, and they don't sign anybody else, they would probably be on board for some compensatory picks a year from now. And this wouldn't count against them by getting him on board.
Jeff, can't be serious, right? They're going to sign 73 free agents like they do every offseason, and they will never get a compensatory pick.
I know.
Ever. At this rate, they have to have the fewest in the NFL since the system came to light. I know they were always near the bottom, and this was a couple of years ago, but they're going to go out and sign somebody else. There's no question about it.
I think they've got to. I think
Yes,
they almost have. If they want to get a left defensive end, I almost think they have to make a trade for somebody if there's one on the market. I just don't feel like there's that many free agents out there. It's such a mediocre class for free agency, and the draft that doesn't shape up that well. That's why I slotted in. Can we talk about my mock real quick?
Why don't we do it next segment?
Okay.
Let's
a little tease.
because it goes along with the NFL Combine.
I like
it. Got a lot to talk about there. But, yeah, why don't we do that? All right, let's take a break right here on the show. And when we get back, we'll talk about Jeff's latest first Saints mock draft. I'll actually have one coming out on Wednesday. And I don't know who I have yet. I think I have an idea, but I'm not totally sold on who I'm going to put with that first pick. So we'll see. But, yeah, we'll talk about some local products, doing some big things at the Combine, certainly helping their stock. So we'll talk about that. Coming up next, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app, Dunc Holder.